How to monetize and segment your email list workflows. That is the topic for today. Welcome to the room. I'm actually going to say how to monetize and segment your business because it's also important to think about that too. Yes, we run segments and all this great stuff. Hey, Rachel. But we also have to think about where we're taking this. Hey, Dr. Fashion. So it's super exciting to look at it from a very specific but also simple workflow. But it's also important to look at it and be more specific on where you want to take it to. So we're going to talk about this today. And I hope if you have any questions, we're going to dive deeper and answer them so that you can take action. It's not just to listen, but you want to take action on what you listen to. Hey, Dr. Fashion. Hey, Mahmood. Thank you for being here. Mr. Willis. No. Rachel, thanks for joining the marketing club and visiting us today. For those who are listening, and if you're going to be here in the replay, I really hope you learn something new and you're able to enjoy the conversation we're going to have today. And I'm going to be talking about Flowdesk specifically. Welcome to Net, because other platforms are available to use, right? There are many platforms out there you can send emails to. But the things I'll be telling you about that when you segment your emails the way you could with Flowdesk, there are things that you will be seeing that will be so different from how you see your email list respond back to your content or your emails. Did you know that $1, let me say it this way, just to make it easy. For every dollar that you spend, right, on email, you get $40 back. You get about $36 to $40 back compared to social media where you may not get up to $1 back or $2 back. Why is that the case? Why is that such a big stretch? Why? This is the common denominator between the two. On a platform like Instagram, Facebook, yes, you can make money on Facebook, on YouTube. Yes, that's very possible, right? Because you have content, it's evergreen, it's community-based, it's brand-based. Definitely, there are billions of people on the app who want to connect, so why not? But here's something that I'm looking at from a different perspective that you can add to what you're already doing. If you want to do both, which would be even better, is when you look at your email, right? And you have someone's contact and it's a business contact and you're sending emails and they're actually receiving it, they're opening it, they're clicking it, they're actually enjoying your emails. It's different from Instagram. I don't know if you know this, but you can do some research. But in a day, people spend at least 3 to 5 times a day opening their emails. I'm sure before listening to this, you opened your email today at least once, at least. If not, you probably do it before the end of the day because you're going to be looking out for some emails or some important content or whatever it is, whether it's at work, at home, at school, somewhere you will be within an email space. And that's going to be Google Mail. That's going to be Outlook Mail. That's Microsoft, Apple Mail, Yahoo Mail. So it's going to be very important to consider these things. So today, I want to talk about how to monetize and segment. And why I'm being very specific about monetizing and segmenting is because I want us to be able to have more content out there that more people can see. But I want them to see it in a way that you can also enjoy and actually benefit from it as well as they are. So when you're getting an email list, or when you're building an email list, a business email list for that matter, you're building, yeah, Tanet, I see you. Thanks for being here too. Appreciate you for the comment. And yes, please put in the chat anything. I'd love to see that. Let's have a conversation. When you build an email list, one of the most important things that's going to make your email list a very big asset is the business emails you have that you send emails to, because those at domains.com that you're sending to are also business emails that also send emails to other emails, not just your emails only. So when you're looking at the ecosystem, it's beyond just sending emails. One, they have to be delivered, then they have to be opened, then they have to be clicked, and then they have to be responded to. Those are 4 stages. So if you don't pass through stage 1, there's no way you can get to stage 4, because they didn't even get the message delivered because it was in their spam. How did it end up in their spam? That's because your DNS, which is technically the DNA, just like you have a DNA, your body has a DNA, is the same way your email, your website has a DNA, which is a DNS, a domain name server. So every record in that server, whether it's an A record, a TXT record, a CNAME, which is a canonical name record, all these records are explaining what your website is about, what your email list is about. If you connect it to Google Search Console, that's where you're going to connect it from. Today we did that for a client for 2 websites, and we've also automatically connected it too, which is going to be good for over 80 articles plus that is on a web page that is just being scanned and processed and rendered. So imagine if you have information that's rich, and then it's like saying you have money and you put the money in the bank. When you put the money in the bank, it's going to start doing things for you. Investments, when you start putting into properties, when you start putting into assets, generating, or I can say revenue generating activities, right? And it's not just that. You can put in gold, you can put into Bitcoin, whatever you like to put it into. When you start building that and actually building that capacity, is because you have something to give. So it's the same thing. If you have articles, you push it. If you have a book, you finish writing a book, now you want to put this book on Amazon. The reason why it's selling on Amazon is because the book is quality. It's not because your book is on Amazon. So it's the same thing with your website. If you have quality content on your website, and the day you connect it to Google, Google sees that and actually values and respects and trusts your website, you're going to start seeing delivery on Google, which means Google's going to start giving you recommendations. If someone's searching for this, oh, why am I awake? Why am I hungry? Why am I yawning? Whatever you're going to type, there's going to be a response. And if it's your response because you have a product, a solution, you have a service, you have something to give, if it's a DIY, if it's a DFY, whatever it is, it's going to be done with you or for you. Or it might even be done by yourself. If you do it yourself, great, even better, because now you can learn. But if you don't have the time to learn or have the time to understand these things, then of course you'll hire it out or outsource. So it's very different. So when you send out an email, and that email, you're sending it out to, let's say you have 1,000 email contacts, and let's say 30% of them are, let's say, business contacts, and 70% of them are just at Gmail, at Outlook Mail, out this, out that. Then if they're at those destination links, then fine, that's cool. But if you realize on a month-to-month basis, on a year-to-year basis, on even a quarter-to-quarter basis, overly in an incremental value increase, you'll notice something, that if you're getting more business email lists to your emails and you're sending them out, welcome Brittany, and you're sending them out to people and you're putting it out to the point where people are actually receiving it and saying report not spam. I'm sure you've done that when you have an email. It says report not spam. So when you do that, that's telling you that, oh, this is actually an email I want to receive next time I receive an email like this. That's a signal you're sending. So if that signal is going to be consistent, then it's going to play a big role. I actually noticed something today. And if you use Google Mail and you use it for business, check this out too. If you have Google Workspace, on the left side, there's a section that says manage subscriptions. I saw it today, and I want to actually talk about this just a little quickly so you can actually see where I'm going to when it comes to monetization and I'll call it segmentation. When you go to manage subscriptions on the bottom left-hand corner of your like your dashboard within your Google inbox for work, when you see manage subscriptions, you're going to see all the emails you're subscribed to. And then to the right side, before you hit unsubscribe, you're going to see a volume, a search volume, which is actually very interesting. I've never talked about this, and I said, you know what, we're talking about emails, so I'm going to talk about this once, and that's it. So on the right side, that section will tell you 10 plus emails sent recently or less than. It's going to give you more than or less than. So some companies will send less than and to say 10. So when you see 10, that tells you that people are sending emails on average at least 2 to 3 times a week per month. Because if Google is putting 10, it's not putting 7, it's not putting 15, it's not putting 20, it's putting 10. So that says a lot about the standardization of emails. So when you break those numbers down and you're sending 10 emails, of course, I can send 10 emails, but I don't have to send 10 emails to all my subscribers 10 times in a month. That's the difference. So when people hear 10 times, they're like, oh, 10? Oh, yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's targeted. It's niche based. It's search based. It's intentional. It's intent based. Gone are the days when people are just going to be searching for things and buying things anyhow. People are going to do their research and they're going to get the best product out there. So for you to also show up as the best product in comparison to your alternative or your competitor, then it's how you present yourself and how you educate your community. Because if I educate you about something and you learn something out from me, you're going to want to learn something else from me. If I learn something from you, I also want to learn something new from you, because there's something you don't know that I know, and there's something that vice versa could happen. So if we're going to look at this at the long-term perspective, my question now is, how as a business are you going to create more traffic for your email list to grow? And as you're monetizing it, you're sending it in a sequenced way. So if you send an email to me and this email goes out once and I've segmented the email, which means I send one email, but I have 10 buckets. That means if the rain falls, I have 10 buckets of water I could take back home, or I can take inside, or I can use outside. I'm being very literal with the example so you can really see what I'm talking about. So you have 10, right? So what does that mean? If you have 10, it means that this bucket is going to be used to clean the dishes. This bucket is going to be used to clean the clothes. This bucket is going to be used to take a bath. This one is going to clean my feet. This one is going to be stored for storage purposes. You see where I'm going with this? So all of those buckets are coming from the same rainwater, from the same source, right? So if they're all coming from the same source, they can all be used for different resources. So if somebody comes in and they say they want t-shirts, somebody else wants jackets, somebody else wants belts, somebody else wants watches, somebody else wants earrings, somebody else wants bags, then when you know what they actually want, you can send them all emails and tell them, hey, I got something for you. Or did you know? Or here's some stats I found you should check out. Or what's the difference between this and that? Or have you heard of the latest news? Before you know it, you're giving them so much information. You give 9 times, you ask once. If you ask once and you've given 9 times, the compound interest is so much instead of you asking 9 times and giving once. Because someone's going to say, what is in it for me? Or why am I doing this? Or why do I have to do this? So it starts to get friction full before it even gets frictionless. So for us to move from friction to non-friction, if I can call it that way, right? Whether it's fiction or non-fiction that you're building, whether it's movies, podcasts, creative, technical, however it's going to look, at the end of the day, you're building a story. You're building an emotion, you're building psychology, you're building intel, you're building data. So when you're sending one email, like I talked about with the rainwater, and this one email has been sent to 10 different buckets, which means in that email, you had events, you had merch, you had guests, you had insights, you had announcements, you had a lot of things, right? And there are now 10 buckets. When you send that one email, now in those buckets, out of, let's say you had 1,000 contacts you sent to, now in those 10 buckets, some may be 2, some may be 50, some may be 500, some may be 250. So you're having a split of the same difference, literally, because you now have, welcome Andrea, you now have, and Pierre, it's good to see you, Trell. Thank you for being here, Nick. Mr. Chris, good to see you too. Spud Harris and Miriam. When you have that type of split difference, right? What happens is that you start to create a pathway to monetization, because the deeper you get to know who your audience is, the deeper you get to know how your audience responds, what time they open their emails, knowing that they open it between 3 to 5 times a day. So of course they're going to open it in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, maybe at night, and they might open it 1 or 2 times. And it might not just be your email they're opening either. So when they're spending time within those opening sequences, how much time are they spending with you in the inbox as they would with others? There's a study too that I saw that about 67% or so, and you can always do your research, please. I always do my research, so please do yours. I'm just giving information too. About 67%, it's always going to be a variable number, but within this percentage range, within the 60% range, people don't really like, and I'm paraphrasing, they don't really like long emails. People prefer short emails, but that doesn't mean they don't love long emails. It's like a plot twist in there. So it's a dichotomy, if I can even put it that way, because you have an email list that you're sending information to, and all these emails have different ESPs, email service providers. So even if you're sending it to everyone has an at gmail.com, then that's where your email is going to. If that's your contact list, that's where it's going to. But if you have business contacts and it's at your website.com, at that, you don't know which platforms they're signed up with. You don't know whether they're on Google Workspace or in Microsoft Outlook or Apple Mail. You don't know where they are, right? Because it's not like at AOL.com like before. So you're looking at it like, okay, you can still get it at yahoo.com. You can still get at gmail.com, Google Mail, that is. You can still get anything you want .com or your TLD, your top level domain, right? But the difference is when you start to use that .com as an actual mailbox, because when you build a website, the next thing is to buy a mailbox. The same thing is when you open a brick and mortar location, you activate your mailbox. When you buy a house, you activate your mailbox. You activate your lights, you activate your Wi-Fi, it's just the way it is. So it's with your website too, but it's like we build websites and then we turn the lights off. And we wonder why we're not getting traffic, because every time it sounds like this. So for us to monetize our email list in 2026, we need to segment first. That's the goal. That's why I put monetize and segment, because they work hand in hand. Flowdesk is a beautiful platform. I will say that again. Flowdesk email marketing is a beautiful custom relationship management platform. It is such a beautiful sequencing tool that you can have scheduled and automated emails. And of course, everybody can do that, right? So what makes the difference? There's something that is happening now, which is super dope. And I'm talking about this now because I'm a Flowdesk partner. And if you need to do this or try this, I'll put the link in the chat so that if you guys actually want to sign up with Flowdesk today and get your 14-day free trial, please feel free to do so, because right now it's a time for you to really brand your business. And I'll say for two reasons. One, when you have something called checkouts on Flowdesk, and because there it is, I put the link in the chat. When you have, and it's, if you do HTTPS colon slash slash or forward slash HTTPS colon slash slash partners.flowdesk.com slash we don't play, you can get your 14-day free trial today. Start off and check it out. Send emails, move it over. We've saved hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars with connecting businesses. And at least I can say at least 60 businesses that I know are still using Flowdesk today. And this is within a 5-year range, at least. And there's more that we've connected with businesses. And that's not just businesses we've connected with, there's more, but 60 of them I know that are still using Flowdesk today. Some are still using it since 2020. They're still using it till today. Flowdesk. Why? Because of the infrastructure. Welcome, Kim. Because of the convenience and because of the data. Now, Flowdesk partners, and I don't just do anything because it's a product. Anyone can go to any product. So I'm using this. That's why I didn't use Flowdesk in the title, because I don't want to center it on Flowdesk. But I will use Flowdesk as an example to show you what could be possible. And if your platform doesn't do what I'm explaining, then that's when you can decide to choose or consider Flowdesk, because that way you're able to achieve this at its capacity, because not all platforms can do this at that capacity too. It's different. Just wanted to make that clear in that disclaimer. So right now with Flowdesk, one of the things that I love that you can do now is if you send out an email, and we talked about this 10 buckets, right? You can have things called yes, no triggers or yes, no branches, which is very different from delays, because delays is like, oh, you got to wait a few days and then send an email, wait a few days or wait on this, which is standard. Now it's different. So if you open that email, if I send that email at 2 a.m. and you opened it at 6 a.m. and an email is supposed to go out at 2 p.m. and I said that if anyone opened this within the last 3 hours, between 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. should be able to see this, that's a smart trigger. So I'm able to cut out the people who were not interested or who were interested but came back. And I'll say, okay, if they came back and opened this more than 3 times, because I know 3 to 5 times is the number of the scale. And I know that, okay, if they do it 3 times, that tells me that they're interested. That gives me a closer number. So the more I'm closing in that bucket from 1,000 contacts to X number of people who are in that specific bracket, then it allows me to also have workflows that I can now build with businesses and say, okay, here's a podcast episode, or here's a book, here's a video. And if you have a YouTube, for example, you can, this is the beautiful part about Flowdesk, you can use your thumbnail and then send it as an image, and it will look like an image in the actual email that you send out. And when it's also sent out with the email, you can also add the red. Some people don't know this, but you can do this too in the settings. That's you. Of course, you can choose any color of the rainbow that you want to use for your email marketing. But when you now choose the button that gives you this, the square or the rectangle or the, depending on what you're using, let's say the rectangle for YouTube, then you choose the color red, and it's going to look like the actual YouTube red thumbnail or red icon. So when you do that, this is really the cool part. When you do that, the next thing that happens is your business starts to take the next step, because what starts to happen is you start to use that specific tool, and then you're taking Flowdesk as I want to put this in a really nice way so you can think about it differently. You put Flowdesk in a way where when you now send out an email and you're getting feedback from that email, what you're doing realistically, welcome Yogi, is you're building consistency, because you're trimming, I can even say you're trimming the fat, because you're actually putting all the information that's within a bucket. And now you're using this bucket to now say, okay, we're going to put this content out to this particular person or in this number of days. And you're actually using the data you're already getting to now get more feedback on what you're already sending. So let's say I have 3 blogs. or 3 episodes, and I want to know which one out of these 3 episodes or 3 blogs was more interesting to this set of people that I'm actually connecting with. By segmenting the links that I send will allow me to know which kind of links am I receiving back. So if I'm receiving links and these links are coming back, and these links are coming back as segments, meaning that if I send it to 1,000 people and 20 people clicked on this link and now 20 people are in this segment, it means that 20 people were interested in this topic. So if 60 people and then let's say 120 people clicked on it, now I know 120 people clicked on this one, and this one. So that tells me that if I've segmented this to 3, I know that the next time I have an event or the next time I have a blog or the next time I have a podcast or whatever I'm promoting, these are the people who will most likely purchase, most likely raise their hand, most likely buy, most likely decide, or most likely refer. So when you have that most likely on a higher side of the scale than at least likely, then that's where you start moving even more capacity within your email list because you're now building it. With Flowdesk, one thing I love about Flowdesk is within the checkouts, when you put your link within the checkout section, it's a hack that if you try this, try it out and let me know if it works for you. You put in your, if you have, of course, you have your landing page, you put your information there. Now, when it comes to the text, when you highlight the text and you put the anchor text, and usually a safe space is between 6 to 8 words, and you put that there and you highlight it. Once you highlight that text, welcome, Derek. Welcome, Sensei. Miss King, I see you too. Thank you for being here. Tam, thanks for being here too. And no carbs. Once you put that link in the anchored text and you hyperlink it to your website, that automatically becomes a backlink. Most people say, what is a backlink? Or ask, what is that? A backlink is technically a referral to a website. I think that's the simplest way I can say. It's a referral to a website. So a website referral to another website. So if I was referred to because I was linked, it means that that link from that web page has a link that's connected to my site or my domain. So that's going to be tracked within Google, within Microsoft, within ChatGPT, within Alexa, Siri, and the rest of them. So when you start creating content, that becomes a backlink. And that's a good thing because when you have a backlink, welcome Cindy, your backlink now becomes the anchor for your website. And the anchor for your website is technically a backbone, right? So when you have a website, your website is supposed to be the front-facing business card, quote unquote, for your business in general. So if you have a website and your website is growing because you have articles, you're building connections, it will take off. And just give yourself at least 1 or 2 years. That's not a lot of time. If you really think about how much time you have, if God permits it, and if God blesses you with life, and He will, and do it, 2 years, that's half of a school year. Imagine that's what, junior, that freshman, you're starting from just ground zero, and then you just go up. Now, okay, sophomore, and then junior, and then senior, and then before you know it, you're professional. But guess what? To get to senior mode, by the time you're in sophomore mode, imagine what that has done for you as a business. Because now, by the time you've set up your website, you've answered questions, you've put pricing, you've put currency symbols, you've sent emails, you write an article on your website, you send it to your email list and say, hey, I wrote an article about this. The best person to tell about what you wrote on your website is your contact list. The same way, the best way to tell someone about something, or the best person to tell about something, is your best friend or somebody that you're significantly connected with or to. So when you have something good to tell them or something not so good to tell them, when you're going to have those conversations, it's those people you're going to have those conversations with. So it's the same way when you have a website. Don't just post on your website and expect magic to happen and abracadabra and then now this happens. It doesn't work like that. You have to be intentional. You have to be factual. You have to say, no, 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 no. Cancel, 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 cancel. How can I do this in a way that can allow me to get my time back? That's why I started off the room and I said that for every dollar you spend, you can get $36 back. Now imagine if every person on your contact list spent $36 with you every day, or every week, or every month, or every other time that they have something that they want to do or sign up for that you've been offering for a while. You know why it's $36? For me, I will break that $36 into 36 days, because 36 days is a month and a couple of days, right? A month and barely a week after, or close to that. So if I know that I've been sending you emails, and how many emails am I sending you? 10 emails. I'm sending you 10 emails in a month, and I have a product that's going to cost $36. Now within 36 days, that's a month's worth of information. So you've sent 10 emails at this point, and if they're receiving all 10 and they're checking their emails at least 3 to 5 times a day, that is going to be 5 times 10, right? Because you've sent 10 emails and they've opened it 5 times. That's 50 times they've interacted with you in 1 month to get $36 from one product. So when you now think about the longevity, because of course, not everyone is going to open your email when you send it. Actually, 20% of the people that open your email are within that first hour. Not everyone's going to open it. So even if you have the highest, if your analytics tell you, hey, this is when the most people open it, yeah, that's when they'll open it the most. But you have to think about it on a 24-hour clock. Today is Friday. If you send an email now and you send another email tomorrow, of course, it's going to be a different response. So it's going to be definitely very different to look at. And speaking of, check this out. Thank you, Trell. I just see the chat. So you said, let me see. That's valve.app. Tell me more about it. I'd love to know more about this too, because email marketing is very specific and there's a lot to cover. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I love what I'm looking at actually. So it's pretty dope. And I'd love to dive into it deeper. I usually do audits and SEO audits and get to see what's happening on the back end. And it's very interesting to see that, it's good that you have I can call it, what do I call it? The pre-purchase intent. That's a perfect way to put it. A pre-purchase intent, because when somebody's looking for information, they're going to look for it in a specific place. So with Valve, now there's different things I'm seeing. For example, within the setup, I'm looking at the site. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Let me do this again. Okay, one more time. All right, good. Perfect. So I'm looking at it right now. Okay, so I'll just say this. Email wise, because we're talking about email marketing today, I don't know how that is, because I see you have a community. And then I don't see a link to the community. It's about the community, but I don't see a link to the community. So these are some things that I'm just looking at it on the go. I'm not even using my computer, but if I really send like a 5-minute video, I'll be able to dice it and see exactly what we need to be looked at, improved on, scaled, double down into, because there's always room for improvement. But I love what I'm looking at because it's very rich, and I love that you have a very specific niche that is going to be, focused on creators. So when I think about creators, I think about how are people going to experience this platform and what they're going to use and how they're going to receive it. Right now, we're actually working on a client. We're working with a client, and there are 3 apps. They have 3 apps, and they're all in one, but they have 3 different services or 3 different verticals. So we're now doing App Store optimization on what? Play Store, and what's the other one? Google Play Store, App Store and Google Play Store. It's because I use Apple. So Google Play Store and App Store. So we're optimizing, and I know that when it comes to App Store, they spend about, if you do any updates, it's about 7 days. If it's Google Play Store, it's about 2 to 3 days. So just knowing tech, knowing exactly what's supposed to happen, because right now we're working on a project for spring. So I already know, okay, keywords. How do we measure this? What's the website looking like? Do we have things in place? Are we tracking activity? And how do we even measure the activity that we're tracking? So there are a lot of things that we look into, like kind of like putting an advanced security camera on your website. So you're able to see the activities going on. What are people clicking on? What are the hot zones? What are the cold zones? Because if you don't know those things, how will you know what to change? So that's where it comes into play. And building an email list is one of the most important things to do. So definitely, Trell, would love to connect with you. And, please click the link above. And when you click the link above, you can sign up, join us on the newsletter, or you can even book an appointment. It's all there because I want you to also see this for yourself and see how you can build this out. We had a client that was spending close to $200 a month on an email list. They had about this. Now they've grown. When they started, they had about 9,000 people on their list, and they do massage therapy and in New York. So it's very specific, and they were spending close to $200 a month just to keep it up. That's overhead costs. I was like, nah, we gotta split that, because what they were spending within a year, we took 10% of that, and that's what they spent for the year. So instead of them spending $200 a month, they ended up spending $200 and some change. Let's say less than $300, 208 to be specific, per year. So if that has saved them 90% of overhead costs that they can now put that into advertising, into other things, research and development. So why I'm saying this is, when you get to know your email list structure, when you want to monetize your email list, your segmentation is going to be the most important thing. Because without that segmentation, you will never know what they want. You never know what they need. You never know what they're asking for. You never know what's going on. So the best way to know what's going on is to ask. Ask and you shall receive. It's biblical, it's scriptural, it's logical, it's factual. So when I look at it from a long-term perspective, as a business owner, to creator, to entrepreneur, to anyone that's going to be building a business email list, think about your email list and think about the infrastructure it's on. Ask yourself, how much am I paying for this platform? Could I spend less on this platform? If I can, would the less hurt me more, or would it hurt me less? Or would it actually help me more because I can help more people find me at a higher capacity? And that 100% deals with your open rates. It deals with your click rates. There's a difference between a click-through rate and a click rate. So when you now start looking at these little intricacies that will help your business grow long-term, your question and your defining factor is how to monetize your business email list. Welcome, Jonathan. Is a big question. How? That's the question of the day. How? You have to segment. The answer is in the question. The answer is in the question. How to monetize and segment your business email list? The answer is to segment your email list. You segment your email list by letting more people know, hey, I sell tires, or hey, I sell batteries. Those are two different things, but you could go to the same store. So how are you going to balance that equation, and how are you going to let people know that you sell batteries and tires? So it's a big deal, and we're going to break that down today. What's up, Jonathan? How you doing, man? Welcome.
Happy Friday to you, man. Happy Friday to you and everybody else in the room. As always, I love the titles. This was something that was really particular of mine to me. It was a major job at my last company that I worked for. And it matters too. Email to me matters for this topic because it can get stale kind of quickly. And I think a topic that's not talked about enough is the hygiene of email and keeping it fresh. And what you're about to talk about today plays a major part in that, as well as getting people to actually convert. So great topic per usual.
Thank you, Jonathan. We got to even bring that back a little bit. You mentioned something. Let's pick that back real quick. Cleaning up your email list. I think about cleaning up your email list like taking out the trash every week. because if you keep that trash in the same place for 5 weeks, 10 weeks, shortless of a week over, there's going to be a difference. I'm giving you a very literal example because I want you to see what this looks like for your email list. When you start seeing hard bounces, soft bounces, you start seeing domain reputation, it's a whole lot of things going on. Your IP, it's not clean anymore because you're just adding to the dirt. Every email you send, you're sending to the same people who keep bouncing. So you're not cleaning it up. The same way you take out the trash is the same way you need to delete emails from your list that are, so there's a difference between cleaned email list and unsubscribed and marked as spam and bounced. Those are 4. There's cleaned, unsubscribed, marked as spam. These are very specific ones to think about, right? And when you think about all 4, I know I mentioned 3 to begin with, you look at all of them and say, okay, this is how I'm going to do this. I'll just give you the option. So if it's cleaned means that it's probably been there, but it's not been active. Meaning that, let's say I've sent you an email and that email has been received, but it's never been opened. That means you don't even open your emails to begin with. So that's already a signal in itself that it needs to be cleaned. If something is dirty, it needs to be cleaned. So why is it being cleaned? Because if it's being sent, that email you're sending, and let's say 10% or even 1% is not that clean, then it means that it's going to hurt your scores. It's going to hurt your data. It's going to hurt your analytics because you're getting skewed data now. You're having a little bit of a mix of this and that. It's like oil and water. So you want to get the gunk out by creating a space where anytime you send one email, you clean up your email list. So if you send an email and then after 2 hours to 24 hours, you get to see, okay, this email bounced or this email keeps bouncing. You send it out because the email has already been there before. But the more you keep sending it and the more it keeps bouncing, because everyone is changing emails, especially with business emails. Some, like Jonathan just said, he was working at a company. Now he's not. Let's say he had a business email that he was using and he signed up with that, and you're still sending to that email and it's not working there. It's not being seen. So you're getting bounced. Literally, like, think about a bouncer at a spot. You're being bounced off the joint. So how do you think about that long term and ask yourself as a business, how do you not get into that kind of predicament when you could have avoided that in the first place? Jonathan, what are your thoughts?
You nailed it. You nailed it, and thanks for chiming in off the topic that I started off with. It's different strategies favor depending on what you're trying to do. When we talk about social media, we always talk about reach and stuff like that. I would just like to go back. The general principle when it comes to email is that you want highly engaged people. You're not trying to go for the biggest list. You want people that are actively engaged for a specific reason. And if you don't have those kind of people, or if those people are not on your list, you need to focus on cleaning up that list in order to help you reach the people you want to reach in email in the best way possible. What do I mean by that? Open reach and click-throughs with email has dropped dramatically. It's not the way it used to be. And a large part of that is because it's very hard to just send generic messaging nowadays. So going back to what Favor was saying in the beginning, to get back on track, if you're not segmenting by interest or preference, based on the way people actually, what was the entry point for why they originally subscribed to you? Did they subscribe to you because of a newsletter? Did they subscribe to you because of a product update? Like, you need to get very specific on the entry points for which they come in, to segment them based on what they're looking for. Some people are just looking for relevant information. Some people, like me, just like to look at emails and maybe not click. I don't know. Different emails have different purposes. But the better you can understand the intent of that person on your list and not just treat them like another contact, the healthier email hygiene list you'll have, and you'll have more people engaged, and you can actually achieve what you want in email. It's not just another marketing channel. It's a nurturing tool. It's a one-to-one communication nurturing tool that you have to use.
Exactly. There's so much you said in a short time that is so deep, because there's so much value in nurturing. It's like a baby. You nurture a baby to a point where they can walk, they can run, they can sprint, they can fly, they can jump how high, however they want to do it. That's because you have instilled a foundation from the jump, literally from the jump. So when you look at your business and you're building relationships and people are not unsubscribing and they've been there for years, that also says a lot about your business indirectly, because they're not unsubscribing. Imagine if you have more unsubscribes than subscribes. That's a problem too. So you ask yourself, when people are subscribing, they may be coming in for something for free or just coming to learn about one thing, and then they end up realizing, wow, there's way more than I didn't know about this. Okay, let me learn more. And they're not learning so that they can start doing it. They want to know more, so when it's time to make a decision, they are having an informed decision, because people make decisions every day. You know how many decisions you've made already before now that we don't know about, that you don't know about, that could happen or not happen? So it definitely depends on that nurturing, because when you build that foundation, you're building a relationship. They may not buy from you today, but trust me, they'll refer you to someone. I'm working with a client now, and we're about to do some really good business with logistics and different verticals in the logistics company, in the industry. And it's so different. But I got that referral from a client who we're active with, from another referral who came from another referral. So that's like a third, fourth degree referral from one thing that happened. So when you think about the extension and you think about connections with people, it's not just, oh, we're just doing business. We're building relationships. Money comes and goes. Relationships, I don't know. If you burn that, that's on you. You don't want to burn bridges that you could be using tomorrow. I've known Jonathan for years on this app. I've been here. This is going to be 6 years on Clubhouse. So wherever I connect with people, anywhere, anytime, it's always building, because you just don't know who's listening. You just don't know. This house, whenever I'm in here, what are we, 353K members in this marketing club? It's a lot of people here. So we meet new people every day. So you have to be yourself. And if you keep trying to be someone different every day, trying to send an email, 30% off, Black Friday sale, this, that, they'll unsubscribe for sure, because there's nothing of value you're giving. You're not educating them. You're not teaching them. You're only trying to take from them. At some point, they're going to leave and they'll mark you as spam, and that's not a good thing. So you have to think about those things. It's a two-way communication. It's not just, we send good emails. We have to send emails that actually build value and also entrust value into the system or in the ecosystem. So thank you for that, Jonathan. Trell, thanks for being here, man. We'd love to hear from you. And I love your platform. Let's talk about it.
Hey, so this is actually his wife. He stepped out of the room for a quick second.
Hey.
But thank you. Hey, thank you so much. My name is Brittany. We are business partners in everything that we do. So, Valve is super fire. It is the new wave in tech. It's the new wave in business and creator land. It's really like the newest one link platform that you can probably imagine. It has every feature of integration that you can think of, from your calendar link to your payments. You can sell courses on there. You can sell products on there. You can integrate your YouTube and it plays your videos straight from the page instead of like taking people off the site. There's so many different features. It has actually a really cool feature that brings us back to like the old fashioned MySpace. With you know how MySpace used to have top 8, it has a top 10. So you can feature 10 profiles on your profile, like as a shameless plug, or if you have business partners or like a team or a group that you kind of network and do business with. It's a great place to kind of showcase and network. So it's super fun and luxury. If you have a chance to check it out, definitely check it out. And there's a 7-day free trial on it. So it's awesome. And we're just excited. First of all, we're excited to be back in the Clubhouse space too. So that's just another thing.
Welcome back. Where y'all been?
Thank you. I know. Under a rug, okay? We just had a baby, a new baby. She's almost 3 months old now. So, but we're full-time entrepreneurs. We always working. We run about, I want to say about 11 different companies together. So we're always working. We appreciate you guys for having us on.
Oh, thank you and congratulations to y'all.
Thank you. Thank you
That's
so much.
got me looking at it even deeper now because I'm looking at the site itself. And when I, even in today's discussion, when we think about like email marketing and as a business owner, I know people, it's referrals. It could be online. It could be SMS. It could be email. It could be, in person. It could be digital. Would you say for Valve right now, what's the wave? Let's talk about 5 years from now, a demi-decade from now. What are we looking at?
Oh wow, 5 years from now, we're definitely going to be in everybody's bio link. I think it's going to be a major thing. We're expanding the platform so far out to events and all kinds of interactive experiences. When you mentioned email marketing is also available on Valve. There's a subscription box that you can add to your profile on there. When you get an account, you can kind of see and go into your dashboard. It's so easy. Like you can add all the different features. There's commerce features, which include the shop and your products and your courses and all that kind of stuff. And then there's the basic features, which is like text boxes, headers, links, just like traditional links, like how you would do on a link tree or something, where you just have a link bar and you link it to something. But then there's also like featured videos. You can add your own videos on there, and they play from the profile. So when people go on there, you can set them to autoplay. There's all kinds of interactive things, and it's fully accessible in the back end. So when people fill out your forms, there's contact forms on there that you can add. When people fill out your forms or they subscribe in your email collection box, you get the messages on the back end and you can communicate with your subscribers that way. So you can send messages out similar to text marketing. So just very involved, very interactive. And with the top tens, every time somebody puts you on their top 10, you get a notification and lets you know you've been featured on somebody's top 10. And that's kind of like the fun competition that's happening right now with Valve, is like people are trying to get on as many top tens as they can. So they're getting like their friends and their colleagues on there, and then they're like, add me to your top 10. So that means that when they're sharing their Valve link out to showcase all their work and their links and their content, if you're featured on their top 10, it's like your little profile's at the top of their page and people can click on it and find your Valve through their Valve. So it's really cool.
That's really cool. I love that. That's really dope. I love that we're
Yeah.
innovating and I love to see it too. It got me thinking too about your organic because I love the go to market strategy. Now, when
Yeah.
it comes to organic and direct marketing and response marketing, how is that from the outside looking in?
So from the outside looking in, direct marketing wise, it's really good because everything is scannable, like, and super shareable. So everything is shared through text messages, through your social media pages. There's QR codes that you can scan and use at networking events. A lot of people too, because I'm a publicist outside of partnering with Valve. So I do help clients on the exposure side when it comes to like marketing and getting exposure. And right now I'm having a lot of my clients convert their media kits to Valve accounts because, like, I'm sure a lot of us know that when you're moving and shaking and networking in the business world, that it's beneficial to have a media kit to showcase everything that you've done and your speaking points and different things. But Velve is great for that because it's so easy to update and like remove things down or put things up. And it's kind of similar as far as having like a fast share spot where people can just pull up everything at once. So on the outside, it's great. It's great for teams too, like just sales teams, especially multi-level marketing companies. It's super great for multi-level marketing. Like we're actually working on some partnerships now with, like, for instance, let's just say, you're the head of a Herbalife team and you have 20 people under your upline. if you get everybody on Valve, this is an easy way for people who are not tech savvy or people who just don't, shy away from getting websites built and things like that. It's an easy way for them to kind of have a mini website that's built in 5 minutes that you can really put all your assets there and have your team booming, because then your team members can kind of put their upline people on their top tens, and it's just really fun, and it connects the network. So it's one of those shareable marketing platforms that actually connect with each other, which is one of the things that the industry really doesn't have. By the way, Trout is back, so he can also just drop a few lines on it, because he is the tech genius behind it. I helped with a lot of design and like strategy features on things and just kind of like some of the inner workings of it, but he is the tech man who actually put it together. So I'll let you talk to him.
Hey, man.
What's good?
Hey, bro. How are you? You too, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for allowing us to hold on to your stage for a little bit. How's everything going on your
It's
end?
good. It's good. I'm loving the conversation. And when I saw the chat, I was like, okay, we'd love to hear more about, what's going on with Valve and how you even also got to see the room too. I was going to ask that earlier because, you got a ticket, and I was like, okay, I would love to know how you found the room so that it's also helping me to help more people discover rooms like this for you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So we've been going back and forth on whether we should get back on Clubhouse and kind of like just to get inside rooms and make our own rooms and stuff like that, because we came from, like, I heard you say you was on Clubhouse for about 6 years, so I'm pretty sure you was around from the beginning of Clubhouse and how big that was, so, and how much traction it was getting at the time. So since then it kind of died down some, and we was trying to just figure out where could we just have our place at to be able to connect with people. So I decided to come back into the Clubhouse environment and see what was going on. So your room pretty much came up inside my list, and I just decided to jump in. Matter of fact, it was one of the few rooms that was talking about business and marketing and stuff like that. So I said, let me jump in and see who's in here and just try to connect. So I don't know if it's an algorithm thing or what right now, because I'm seeing all different types of rooms, like a lot of religious rooms and a lot of other different rooms. But this was like the first business room that I saw over the last few days, just trying to figure it out again. So that's what
Welcome
made me
back.
jump in, man. So thank you for, like I said, thank you for having us and let my wife explain the Valve app, and I'm looking forward to connect more.
Definitely. I've heard so much about it, and I'm like, okay, this is something I'll definitely want to dive into, with you and talk about and see the future of this, because I'm big on, I would say I'm an alpha tester, because even before beta testing, just because I love to see things from the ideation phase. So when I look at things and I scale them out, I'm able to track them back, and I'm like, okay, 36 months ago, 24 months ago, 12 months ago, what was this happening for this reason, and where are we going in this type of trajectory when it comes to analytics, data intelligence. I'll talk about proprietary information, marketing, web
Mhm.
2, web 3 that could be coming to. So I'm looking at all these things, AI visibility, and I looked at the website too, and I've also noticed that I looked into the sitemap, and I'm loving that you have a really strong backup when it comes to community building, which is the builder for the app as well. I'm thinking off page SEO would be really good to you, because if people are coming on the platform and they
Mhm.
are signing up and they're putting their connection, like Brittany talked about, like the top 10, if those top 10 have their own top 10, it does compounds. And then if that all comes back to data and it's now responding off page SEO wise, that's going to be good for the website, because it starts getting attractions to the TAM, the total addressable market, that could also be interested in what you have, as opposed to it just being, within the social media APIs. So I have a lot I'm looking at, but I'd love to, connect more so that we can talk about it and see how possibly if that's something you'd be looking to, we'd love to definitely scale on.
Yeah, definitely let's talk about it, because at the end of the day, we're trying to also build our team and build our future with Valve. I mean, we have a lot of things going on. We have a lot of pending partnerships in place, and it seems like you're very knowledgeable on the SEO side and all the data and analytic type of stuff that will help us, be more visible throughout the internet space, whether we talking about Web 3 and 4. So yeah, let's definitely connect on the back end and see what we could come up with.
Facts, definitely. I'll send you a message too, and please feel free to click the link above too and see what I have my booking links are there as well, but I'll
Okay.
also personally send you a message so that we can also connect
All right, sounds good. I appreciate you.
anytime. Wow, this is good information. I love to hear this. I always love innovation because that's why I joined Clubhouse, November 24th, 2020. That's when I joined Clubhouse and I was like, yeah, this is definitely going to be it because I have a podcast and I joined Clubhouse because I wanted to extend my podcast. Now my podcast is in the top 20,000 out of 4 million shows and with over 600 episodes in 160 countries. SEO has dominated completely. And I'm like, all right, bet. Now I know exactly what people are looking for and what the semantics are because we're living in the World Wide Web. It's all about the semantics. If I'm looking for cookie cutter or looking for cookie powder, it's going to be different completely, or cookie or warm cookies or double chocolate chip cookies. It's going to be different because those filters are going to have different semantics. So if we're going into a data filled industry, which is technically the new oil from what I saw on LinkedIn years ago, and I was like, yeah, this is definitely going to be happening very soon. That if you're able to mine your data and turn that into an asset that can turn into cash flow because you have information that is first data property or first party data acquisition based, then you can really take that and scale that even forward. Because when we deal with social media, we're dealing with second party data because we don't own it, but we can control it. We can post all day, but we don't own the platform. But when you send an email and you send an email to someone and you send them to 3 Instagram posts or 3 YouTube videos or 3 TikTok videos or 3 blogs or 3 podcasts or 3 that, by the time you now segment them closer to what they're needing, over time you'll realize, oh, this is actually even going higher than I thought because more people are actually opening my emails because they want to learn more. And if 3 to 5 people, let me say it this way, if 3 to 5 times a day per person, one person spends within their inbox, imagine what 3 to 5 people can do. That's 15. So if you look at, even take it higher, 5 times 5, 25, and that's in one day. So if you start to think about monetizing, it starts to get more intentional on how you're actually able to deliver. That's what I also do with my email list now. I send out polls. I get to ask people, hey, what do you need? And how do you build websites? Because I also tell people, hey, say they're building a website on JavaScript, or CSS or Python, how are you building it? And I'm able to see that. So when I'm looking and I'm building websites and I'm sending information, I'm like, okay, you build this on Magento, you build this with AWS. What is the system and how are you building that system into it? There's a client we've been working with. This is our 3rd month and they have over 20 million pages. And they had a problem with their site that they weren't able to get traffic. Even though they were getting traffic, it wasn't quality traffic because they weren't able to track the traffic with the pages that they had indexed or not indexed. So they were not really sure where things were coming from and going to. It was kind of like a hot mess. And I said, hey, let's take 3 months to really put this together. And now they're just ranking everywhere. They're ranking on X indirectly. I think the last time they posted on X was like 2018. But whatever they posted then is what's still speaking for them now. So if you think about search engines, email marketing, monetizing, licensing, these are the things that we're talking about. Segmentation is going to be one of your best friends in email marketing. And let me just tell y'all the stats because I love to do research and I don't just talk about stuff. I love to do research. So that's why I always bring it here to y'all. If you didn't know this, segmented emails deliver about 30% plus more opens, about 50% more click-throughs, right? But imagine automated triggered emails based on smart features, and I'll add that too. because some platforms are automated where it says, okay, after 1 day, after 2 days, if they say yes, if they say no, conditional statements or conditional logics, that's there. But when you turn it into smart features where it's like the last 3 hours, if they open it 3 times, if it opened 30% of the time, if they've been here my all time and they've only opened it 70% of the time, if they have a higher click rate or a higher click through rate, you're able to track those things and you're able to take that to the next step. That's when it gets more intense. Now imagine automated triggered emails drive up to 320% more revenue than non-automated campaigns. And behavioral trigger emails produce 10% greater revenue than generic marketing emails. Why? And we've seen this with clients when they have it on Shopify, Wix, Squarespace, Magento, WordPress. We've seen it everywhere. And most times somebody is opening an email and we see a sale on a website that came in at 4 a.m. on a Saturday morning. You would think that people are sleeping on a Saturday morning. I put the link in the chat. You would think people are sleeping, but people are opening their emails, they're purchasing items, they probably dreamt about it last night, or they probably wanted to purchase it, or they were waiting for the cash to clear. Whatever it is, you don't know what people are going through. You can't tell. That's not for you to know. That's not your place. What you got to do is focus on delivery and quality. When you deliver those two consistently, just one day it will happen. Whether it's a $5,000 deal, 10, whatever it is, you see it happen. And the numbers is, I would call it a proportional value to how much you connect and how you connect with people. If you tell if you tell somebody one thing and it saves them 3 hours of their research, that's 3 hours they could put into something else and be more productive for their family, for their business, for everything. It's a compound interest, totally. So when you send out emails, and I was talking about it earlier, send short emails and send them to platforms, whether it's YouTube videos or your podcast, send them somewhere that they can binge. Like if you click my link above, you'll see my episodes, you'll see my links, you'll see my social links. It's all there. You can connect to me on LinkedIn. It's all there. So you're able to really connect and say, okay, do your own research, because when you do your own research, that's the best feedback you can give yourself. So it's very important to look at those things too. Nick, what's up? Glad to have you here. What are your thoughts on the topic, question, contribution? The floor is yours. Welcome.
You just got my attention when you were talking about orders coming through in the middle of the night. Yeah, I can't tell you enough of like I spend, like I do my work during the day, and then I also I have family time. But when I come back, or I go to my personal office at home and start going over orders for the night, between 10 and like 2 a.m., I'm getting constant communication from people like looking to order. Like outside of like in the morning, most of the orders are all throughout the night. And if you spend that extra time just following up with people at that time, especially on different time zones, it really generates sales if you just communicate right away if they ask that question. That's if you want to put in that kind of time. But I just find that extremely valuable, just sitting there talking to people like that.
It's so true. It's so true. Because when you start to create that relationship build with people, it changes everything, because you've scheduled it. You know what time they wake up. You know what time they probably going to have downtime. You have a 7-day schedule, a 30-day schedule, a 90-day schedule, an all-time schedule. And then when you know the times that it helps. And sometimes you'd be surprised that, oh, wow, I'm actually sending emails. And if you think about it, the emails you send are supposed to actually have a ripple effect. You're not supposed to send so many emails that the emails are so flooded that you're getting more unsubscribes. There should be so much less that any email you send at least once should be giving you double the amount or triple the amount if you were to send 3 emails in one sequence or in 1 week. That's the goal. For me, we're in February, that's 13th. I'm looking at my Flowdesk right now. Yeah, I've only sent 1 email this month. Only 1 email. But that email has generated revenue, it's generated leads, referrals. In the next 13 minutes, I'm about to get on a Zoom call with a client. They actually do, like, it's a whole new business. They do online and deliveries for laundry. laundry services. It's a big business, commercial. So, and this is happening off of referrals, off of emails. I'll say, hey, here are the episodes that we did this week. And someone will say, hey, I have a Shopify website, can you do this? Or I have a website, can you check this? Can you make an audit? Or someone say, I have a client for you, I have a referral for you. Now I'm working with somebody who's going to be running, I can't talk too much about it, but it's going to be something that's going to be happening, and they're going to be running for a position. And we're building their website from scratch to the point where we're actually laying the foundation so that semantically and schema wise, which is a markup language for microdata purposes for search engines, both AI and traditional, if someone searches for you in ChatGPT or Siri or Alexa, there's a result that should come out. And if you're associated with brands like Amazon, like Google, like Microsoft, like YouTube, then you should be popping up in some areas. On LinkedIn too, because LinkedIn is Microsoft, right? Because LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft is Perplexity. So when you look at all that, and there's Bing, which just released not too long ago, Bing just released AI citations now in their dashboard. So I put that on LinkedIn. I was like, yeah, it's Google's turn now. So imagine if Google turns on what they're doing, and knowing that Google is about to release a browser called Google Disco. I've talked about it before. Google Disco is coming soon. There's already ChatGPT Atlas. There's already Perplexity Comet. So we're talking about browsers, how people are searching, using agent mode, agentic, SEO is in the building. A lot of things are happening, right? And you have to look at it from an intelligence standpoint and not just consumer, because I can have 50% open rate and no sales. That's vanity. But if you have 10%, 13%, 20%, and that gives you more than what you're getting with 60%, because it's the right audience and it's segmented and it's consumer based, then it helps a lot. It really, really does. So when you think about your business, think about where you're connecting with people from, how you're connecting with them, and why you're connecting with them. Yeah, let's talk about this, Jonathan.
Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to cut you off either. You mentioned something, and I wanted to keep it on my mind and actually express it before it left. Behavioral targeting is a very key thing. You said that about 5 minutes ago. If you're actually able to capture that first-party data that you were talking about, and you can implement site tracking on your website. So if you're using something like a Klaviyo or Active Campaign, and you can actually put site tracking on your website to see where people go, it's very powerful for you to actually segment those people and send them follow-up messages when they actually engage on your website. So if you can take that extra step to kind of get that additional information about them, and if you have like different things that they can engage with on the website, like products and tools and calculators and downloadable content, like the ability for you to send them follow-up communications based on the way they engage, that's segmented in a way that's personalized to them, you can do quite well, to be honest with you. And of course, it depends on what you're trying to do. Cadence really depends on the objective, because if you just buy a product and you bought the product, you're going to want to sort of understand how things work. So to have a sequence after that matters most. If you're just, subscribed and you're just getting used to the newsletter, you don't want to spam somebody. To your point, Favor, you've only sent one out this month. In a scenario like that, quality beats quantity. So just kind of like knowing what you're doing based on the person you're engaging with against your objective, like that can really like help out. And then things on top of that are like behavioral targeting is how you kind of start to segment and stuff like that. So yeah, 100%.
Exactly. It's so important, and you think about the length too, because you may think, okay, it's just one email. But when you think about the amount of time someone spends to read that email, it's different. I wrote an article this week. Yeah, it should be this week. It's a 15-minute read. And I also turned that into a 24-minute audio. So that's 15 plus 24 of active time, minutes wise. When you watch a movie and it tells you it's this amount of time in minutes, okay, I got 96 minutes to watch this movie. I went to watch Avatar. It's 3 hours long. So when you think about the amount of time you're going to spend watching something or doing something or actively being involved in something, then think about how much time they're spending while they're doing it, and if they're active or passive, because that's also a conditional statement based on subjectively what they're doing at that point in time. So if somebody is reading or email your email the first time they open it, they're like, whoa, it's a lot of information, because the email I wrote was a lot. And I sent out how many? It was about, 10. Let me see, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it was 3 episodes, but there were 10 points. And then there were about 5 key learning topics, and there was a poll. It's really long. So by the time someone's done reading this and listening to the episode, coming back, they've already spent a whole week doing this. I sent this on February 5th. Today is February 13th. So I know that I'm sending an email this weekend because there's more information to send. So when I do this more consistently, I'm able to know. And the best way to know is to ask, and is by asking. And I do that on LinkedIn. I do that also on my email list. I put a poll and say, hey, how much do you want to hear from me? Do you want to hear from me once a week, twice a week, once a month, twice a month? Ask those questions. And when you get that feedback, don't guess. Don't say, oh yeah, they don't want to hear me. They don't listen to me. How do you know that? Why are you telling you know how many thoughts you have in your head a day? So don't think about what you're thinking. Think about what they're thinking, and then think for them. So when they think about those things, you're already ahead of that time, as opposed to you catching up to the time. We got 7 more minutes. Speaking of time, Fabian, thanks for being here. We'd love to hear your thoughts, feedback, questions. The floor is yours.
So much, Favor. Great to be here again, man. And just been in like 5 minutes, but I do want to ask, and forgive me if you've already covered it, but one, how do you make your business email stand out among the plethora of emails that we get every day? And also, I love to talk about misconceptions. So if there's any misconceptions about business email, give us one, man. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll actually give you 2. I'll give you a technical and a creative. So the technical would be to also be very specific on the platforms that you're using to stand out, because when you're standing out, you're focusing on platforms. Like if you send it from MailChimp, from Brevo, from Flowdesk, from ActiveCampaign, from Kit, these are all platforms you're subscribed to. Constant Contact, Flowdesk, Klaviyo. There are so many out there that I know. So when you're using these platforms, just know that technically, even though you're paying a subscription for them, there's a technical setup. There's a server somewhere. So you're paying for that server, you're paying for that storage, that cloud, that system, that operating system that you're not aware of on the back end. That's why I use Flowdesk, because I know that they operate with Amazon SES, which is simple email service. So I know deliverability is not going to be a problem for me, because Amazon prides in deliverability, in speed. My email that I sent out, I'm looking at the stats right now, it went to about 8,000 contacts, and it was a 98.4% email deliverability rate. And out of those people, the click rate is 20,000 in total. So that means 8,000 people have spent 20,000 times clicking on this one email. 20,000 times. And I sent it once, and that was last week. So the DNS, which is the DNA of your website, your domain name server, would need to be strong, so that when you have a right server as a platform, ESP wise or CRM wise, you have something that's solid, that's fortified. Now, creative wise, to stand out is subjective. I do different things. Sometimes I'll send an email and I'm not going to use capital letters. I'll use all small letters, because when you use capital letters and small letters, those are different pixels. Like when you send an email, your email is 42 kilobytes, or it's 69 kilobytes, or it's 67 kilobytes, or it's 2 kilobytes. That's going to say the size of your email. That size matters. So when you look at the size of your email, it's based on how you type and what you write. Is there line spacing? Is it font size 16 or font size 12? If somebody has to squint to see it, they have to put on their glasses to see, or they have a small phone, or they're not using their computer or their tablet. How do you don't know these things? So you can't even fathom countless of the number of people you're sending it to at once. So you have to think about quality and delivery all the time. So that technical setup is important. So creatively, you can send in all small caps as your subject line. I use emojis. People use emojis in their subject lines. I use it in my actual name. So I put it in the actual name. So when somebody's actually scrolling through their emails, I put an emoji, and that's the emoji that they'll see, and they're like, oh yeah, that's Favor's email. Okay. So they're not going to delete that. Or if they unsubscribe, that's fine too. Probably that's not meant for them. For me, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, unsubscribe, market spam. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. My goal is to deliver quality and the right people will stay. And they are staying. So if 20,000 people are clicking, then what am I concerned about? So technically and creatively, those are the two things I would say. Does that help?
Do you use a hook in your subject line?
It depends. It depends. It depends. It just really depends. Using numbers. I mean, I use SEO tactics and strategies. That's why it's not, I don't think email and turn off SEO and turn on email. Podcast, anything I
Mhm.
do, including the title of this room, is
Mhm.
SEO based. So it's not a catch or a hook. It's reality, but it's also very specific to the semantics. I hope that helped.
So yeah. So do you think? And my question is: do you think having an open-ended question emotionally connects better, or potentially with potential
Oh
clients?
yeah, definitely. When you use numbers, odd numbers specifically, when you use brackets, that increases about 38% of your open rate and your click rate across the web, not just email only. So when you think about thought-provoking questions, putting question marks in your titles, it helps because the more questions that you're giving people to answer, the more answers that they can get. For me, for example, I did ChatGPT versus Google. That was the email I sent out. And then I did, of course, people are going to read that not because it's bait, but it's because I have information that I need to give. So when it's there and it's actually valuable, people will respond back and email you back and ask you questions, and those will turn into conversations that you could have over time. So definitely your titles are very specific, at least 40 to 60 characters with spaces, and you'll be fine. But using question marks and emojis and all those things, yeah, they're fancy, but you have to use them sparingly. You can't just spam people.
I would say questions and also the answer that you think that that person wants to hear, so you can ask it in the question of, do you think you're stuck? But you can also communicate it in the sense of, this is why you're stuck. So you're already getting ahead from the thing. I think the biggest thing, if Favor nailed it when it came to the technical side of it, just making sure your DMARC and your just all the things that stop your email from being delivered, making sure those boxes are checked. It depends on what kind of email it is. You can obviously play an SEO strategy, that's always good. But asking the specific questions that are tailored to your audience, but also answering the questions that you know are on their mind in the subject line and preview text. Yeah, no, it's a very good take to have. It's because it's more of a one-to-one communication and conversation rather than like a generic blam, this is that kind of thing. And it's not, for me, it's also, last thing, and I'll hold my peace too, it's also to what Favor said, I'm about a hook as well too, but I feel like we're also living in a world where everybody's kind of said the best hook in things. So I'm not trying to hook you. I'm more so just trying to get the timing right and answer the thing that you're thinking about at that moment. And that's a very general way of answering that because I don't know who you're talking to.
Right, exactly. And we can go forever because it's very, I would call it surface level, that we wouldn't be able to really meticulously know the attribute if we don't calculate I would call it understand the KPI, the key performance indicator, and then measure it as a litmus test across the days, whether it's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. So I love those questions. But those things also, if you have catchy hooks, but your foundation is sinking, you got sinking sand, how are you going to stand the storm? So it's very important to think about those things, especially when APIs and all these technical things changes, this NLP, natural language processing changes. So it's very important to look at these things. So we definitely need a part two. I'll be back. I got to jump on a call, but I love that we talked about this today, and I hope you guys are learning so much and sharing so much, because I learn more from you than you learn from me, by the way. So I learn every day, and that's what keeps me coming back here for more, because I love to give and share information like this so I can learn more every day and see what is out there that I don't know of that you guys could share with me. So thank you, Jonathan, Nick, Fabian, Trell, Brittany as well. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you, Mr. Chris. Jason, No Carbs, thank you for being here. Nona, Dr. Fashion, Justice, Ayat, and Anna, thanks for being here as well. We'll definitely bring part two into the mix, and I'll definitely see you guys soon. For those who are celebrating Valentine's, hope you enjoy your weekend and do something nice, be nice, and stay blessed as well. And I also know you too, Dr. Fashion. Happy birthday in advance. I'm going to hit you up as well to say that as well to you tomorrow. So Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves. And you're welcome, Dr. Fashion. Always can't forget OG from day one. So appreciate you. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Love you all. God bless you. Have a good night. And I'll see you guys soon. If you have reached this point of the episode, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to the We Don't Play podcast show. I hope this has helped you, given you some insight, because every time I come on here or anytime I bring somebody on here, a guest, a speaker, anyone that is of relevance to you listening is always going to give you educational value, definitely entertainment value, and most importantly, empowerment value. So thank you for listening to the We Don't Play podcast show every day. And if you want to reach out to me, you know where to find me. Click the links in the description or go to info@playinc.online, info@playinc.online, and book a call. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk SEO. Let's talk marketing. Let's talk business. Let's talk scaling. And I look forward to meeting you and learning more about you and your business. Till we meet in the next episode, have a blessed evening, have a blessed day, night, wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye for now. And don't forget, Jesus loves you.